welcome back to my channel. I hope all are doing well. Thank you for joining me here today. For those who are new to my channel, please subscribe with the notification bell so give my video a thumbs up. And for those who are returning subscribers, welcome. Much love to you guys. Thank you for being here and being huge loyal supporters of my channel. So in today's video, we're going to go ahead and do a get ready with me. And the items that I'll be using for this get ready with me, I'll be using is the Photo Finish Vitamin Glow Primer. I'll be using my Ulta Beauty Blush Duo. And then I'll be using my Fenty Beauty by Rihanna Trio in the shade Medium. They're trio sticks for contouring. And then I'll be using, I might use some translucent powder from BH Cosmetics. And then we have the CoverGirl Matte Made True Blend Foundation, one of my favorite foundations to wear. And then for my eyebrows, my usual pencil from Ofra, and then my Gimme Brow Gel. And then I will also be using my Kaja concealer. And did I show you the Slay All Day, face setting spray? Or the setting spray? I didn't show y'all. It's that one there in the scent Peach. And then I'm also going to use my 1995 liquid lipstick from Gerard Cosmetics. And I'll be using my Appeal Gel Liner in Deep Taupe. And the only reason I'm using this one is because I couldn't find my Mudslide from Gerard Cosmetics lip liner. That really is inconvenient. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Get ready with me. So yeah, so this is just basically just going over, yesterday's premiere. If y'all saw my premiere yesterday, thank you for joining me there yesterday. For those who missed it, sorry y'all missed the premiere. I had a few things on there that I wanted to show you guys on my collection. So if y'all could, join me in those premieres. But so basically what it boils down to is just, my moving process was more than what I expected. This is my first time moving, so I didn't, and especially now with the prices going up, it just made it really kind of hard for me, to digest all this in just a few months. What happened, there was an incident that happened, my father's house. There was an incident that happened. The cops were called over. And nobody got hurt, nothing like that. This is how this looks like. I didn't know that this Vitamin Glow had a tint to it. But anyways, I'm using it as primer. In a Smashbox. It smells good too. It smells like cupcakes. Then it has like that, the generic chemical smell to it. So something happened, and the cops had to come over, and it wasn't the first time that the cops had been called over to their house, for the same incident. I'm not going to go into details. So the manager didn't like the fact that it was getting, that it was attracting too much attention. So because it was attracting too much attention, she spoke to the owner, and then the owner told her, to evict my father, from this mobile home park. So she evicted my father, but she told my father that it's not going to affect me if I renew the contract under my name. The lease for the lot where I'm at, if I renewed it under my name, it wasn't going to affect me. So I was like, so okay. I thought that was going to be like a safety net for me. So I let my guard down. And I was, hoping that, because of what she said, as long as I put it under my name, everything would be fine. So I went along with that, but I don't know what happened along the way. She had a change of heart. I didn't do anything. I mean, whatever happened at my father's house with the incident, that had nothing to do with me. But because this lot is under my dad's name, you know, the contract was under my dad's name. That's the only reason why they say that if I do the contract under my name, then they would consider allowing me to stay. So, like I said, I let my guard down, and I let that, you know, I let that kind of like, I guess it delayed my plans in like looking for another place to live. Which, you know, in the back of my mind, I was like, well, what happens if you still need to find a place to live? I thought it was going to be easy peasy. You know, it wasn't going to be hard or anything. So a month passes by, because she gave me 3 months, you know, to move out of the place. But this is only because the contract was going to be up in 3 months, which September to this month, you know, would be the end of the contract. So I went ahead and I just relied on what she said. That she's going to allow me to stay. So, but when I told her I wanted to go ahead and, you know, do the contract and ask her about the contract, you know, once the contract is up, you know, when can I renew? Because, you know, September was coming around the corner, and this was in August when I was asking her. I think it was in August whenever I asked her about the contract. And she said, well, ma'am, I'm sorry, but the owner really wants you to get out as well. And I was like, what? Like, I thought you had said that as long as the contract was under my name, it was going to be fine. Yeah, but, you know, this thing with the cops, you know, really attracted attention. And then your father's still staying with you. They want you out as well. I'm like, my father had to stay with me because, you know, my father and my mother had to stay with me because, you know, they had been evicted, you know, from their lot. So, and they still needed to get their place situated before they can move into their own place. And he's still trying to get situated. And his situation was messed up. It was already messed up to begin with. It was really salespeople that were selling property, you know, selling land, pieces of land. He got into that, you know, where he said, you know what, I can't find any mobile home parks that will take my mobile home, because his mobile home is pretty long. So there's hardly any spaces to find for a mobile home that was that long. So he was just like at his wit's end, and he didn't know what else to do. So I just suggested, well, maybe just get yourself a piece of land, and just buy the piece of land, like make payments on it and buy it, and then move into it, you know. And I thought it was that easy, but really there's a lot of things behind buying a piece of property. As far as, you know, the city goes, you need permits. You need to get licensed plumbers and electricians. Your house has to be, you know, a certain way according to the association or homeowners association. You know, it can't have holes. It has to be has to look presentable, has to look nice. That area where my dad bought the land at is going to be very nice. I kid you not. That area is it's gonna be really nice. They already have homes built around that area. It's gonna be like a new whole city, like a new whole community there. So my dad really, you know, was very fortunate enough to actually get a property there, but it was a misfortune as well, because now he didn't know, because, you know, the people that are selling the land, they're just there to buy property. They're just there to sell property, and they don't let the consumer know, hey, you're gonna need this, you're gonna need that, and before you know it, my dad ended up spending a lot of money on trying to get permits, licensed plumbers, trying to get the city to come and put in like a pipe and water meter. Like he needs to get a water meter on his land. But, you know, long story short, because, you know, I don't want it to be just to be all about my dad, you know, because of course, you know, so when it came to me, I was like, okay, easy peasy for me as well, because at least I'm going to find a mobile home park that will take my. So I looked around, and there were several of them, but one said you can't have pets, and I have my baby doggy. Well, he's not a baby anymore, but I have my doggy. And she says I wasn't going to be allowed to have him. And I was like, no, ma'am. I have to have my dog. I mean, I'll pay a deposit, whatever I need to do. And she said, no cigar. You cannot have the property. And if you do, you'll get kicked out. You can't have that. You'll be kicked out of the lot. And I was like, okay, I understand. Let me just go ahead and fill out the application then. Because I was already like desperate. Like I was already, desperate, and everything sounded pretty good. It was just too good to be true, because at the end she tells me, sorry ma'am, but the mobile home has to be under your name as well. And I was like, really? Like, why does it have to be under my name? And she said, because it's not your mobile home. And I only want people to live, because I guess that was her lot, or I don't know. I don't know if she owned it or was, I don't know. I never been to it. My father just gave me the information for me to call upon the owner of the lot, or the manager of the lot, and she told me, she goes, that's part of the rules, when it comes, to your mobile home, it has to be under the person who's moving. It has to be under the name of the person who's moving in. And I thought all the mobile home parks were going to be that way. And that's whenever I was like, I lost my mind. I was like, I didn't lose my mind. I was more like mind blown. Like, what the hell? What? I mean, like, so am I going to have to struggle with, looking for a place to live now? That's what was going on in my mind. And then, so I started calling around, and I was asking, look, I have a mobile home, and I need to move into a mobile home park, but the thing is that, mobile home is under my dad's name. Is that going to be an issue? And a lot of them said no. A lot of places that I asked really told me no, that there wasn't going to be an issue. So I was like, okay. So I called several. And there was only a few that actually met my expectations. As far as like expectations, they weren't so high. My expectations for moving into a mobile home weren't so high, because at the moment I just needed to find a place to live. So I was like, okay, let me just find a place and move in and get this over with already, because I'm already getting to the point where I was getting anxious. My anxiety was kicking in, and I said, no, this is not good, because if my anxiety starts to kick in, then I can't work, So, it wasn't that bad though. My anxiety wasn't that bad, but I'm not feeling it as bad, but I am at the point where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to move out. And so at that moment, whenever I was, looking for a place, and I was like, okay, the expectations, I didn't have too much expectations out of a property, out of a mobile home park, as long as, they were going to be fair with their pricing, and they were going to, they're just going to be fair with me. So I looked and looked, and I finally found a place, and this is the place where and this is the cheapest place I found, and this is the most reasonable place for me to live, which is the place that I'm looking for, and the place that I'm, needing, help with the expenses on. And this is just anywhere, because really this is the city, because in the county they don't ask for a lot of that stuff. If you live in the county, they don't ask you to have a licensed electrician or licensed plumber. They don't say that you need to have permits or anything like that. They just want you to move in, and there's no kind of restrictions. But this is in the city, so because it's in the city, I have to follow all these requirements. So now that I know this, that there's a lot of requirements involved in moving into the property or the lot, because I got approved. I was told, you got approved to move into the lot, so we're just waiting for you to move in your mobile home. And at the time I was like, okay, I had a mover who was willing to move the trailer, but he didn't have no permit. He wasn't a legit mover. He moved mobile homes, but he wasn't licensed. He just made a living off of that. So he was just making a living off of telling people that he is licensed, that he does have permits, you know, to move mobile homes, and that he wasn't able to provide my dad, because he actually moved my dad's mobile home. And that's another thing where my dad's having an issue, because they're asking him they're asking him for the permit of the move-in for the trailer. You know, because they wanted to make sure that the person who moved in the trailer had a permit. Nope. This person said, I showed it to the previous landlord or the previous manager that I had a permit to move the trailer, and I just moved the trailer, but it's in our file that we have the permit. And my dad's like, well, where is it? Because I need it, you know? And from then on, like, he wasn't able to get the permit for my dad. He wasn't able to get the permit for my dad. Or he hasn't seen that permit yet. So I don't know if they're just gonna go ahead and let him pass the inspection, you know, or not. But coming back to me, you know, because I'm straying away from my story and telling you my dad's story. Coming back to me, so yeah, so he says that yes, he you know, that he does have permits, you know, and this is what he does his living off of, you know, is moving trailers, and that it's legit, and this and that or whatever. It's like, okay, so I told him, let me call you back and let you know when I'm ready to move my trailer. But so when the landlord from the other mobile home park, the one that I'm gonna move into, called me, she said, where's your trailer? And I was like, what do you mean, where's my trailer? I thought I had to. I go, no, I was approved to move in, but you still said that there was a process for me to fill out the contract. I still haven't moved in my trailer yet. I still haven't filled out the contract. And she says, yeah, but you still have to move in your trailer. You have to move in your trailer before the next month comes around, because if not, then you're going to end up having to pay two lots. You know, 2 payments on 2 lots, you know. And I was thinking to myself, this lady must already have it set to where she has me as, you know, the person who's gonna be living, you know, in that mobile home park that I qualified for, that I got approved for. So now I'm like rushing, trying to get movers, and I get a hold of movers, but they don't come and give me a quote. They give me a quote, but they don't write it down on paper. And so I'm here asking my company for a loan, so they can lend me, so they can see that I'm in a crisis, because they say they have a loan program where they allow you to borrow money in advance, and you just make payments, you know, make payments. And I was like, okay, well, this program is what I need, even though it's not, you know, the amount of money that I need, but at least it'll help. So with the loan that I had gotten a loan also as well, and with this money should cover at least 1/3 of the costs. 1/3 of it, no, not even half, just 1/3 or 1/4 of the cost of what's going to cost me to move into my mobile home. So anyways, finally I just went ahead and gave them a quote from an electrician, because they said my company said all they need is just a quote from somebody, you know, just to show proof that I am in desperate measures and desperate times, that meets desperate measures, you know, for this loan. And I said, okay. I was like, all right. So I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and try to see if I can provide you a quote from somebody, right? Don't know who, but I was going to provide you a quote from somebody. You know, supposedly from from the person who's gonna move my trailer. But instead I gave her a quote from the electrician, which was perfect timing, because I needed to give her a quote already, because they're waiting on the quote, and I only have until the 22nd for them to be able to fill my request for that loan. So I have until the 22nd. Actually, I have more than the 22nd, but the 22nd is the deadline, because I need to get out of this property where I'm at before next month. Because if I don't leave before next month, oh goodness gracious, I did not tell you this, but the previous landlord passed away. I was shocked, you know, because this landlord, I'm not gonna say anything bad about her, because I'm not gonna do that, but she did rub a lot of people the wrong way. With me, I was just more like, I just live by myself. I have no issues. I just pick my own business. I don't have kids. I don't have issues where, and I have a dog, and he's a small dog. He's not one of those big dogs, so I don't have any issues with the landlord regarding any of that. So, but she did have her personality, and she had already told me that I was still gonna have to leave the property. I still was gonna have to leave the property, and they weren't gonna renew my contract, with them. So that was her stance on that, and I was like, I wasn't like happy about that. I was like upset, because I was like, why are you getting my hopes up, telling me that as long as I put it under my name? Because I thought you had told my dad that as long as I put it under my name, I'll be able to move in. And she's like, no, ma'am, the owner doesn't want you here either. And I was like, okay, fine. So that's whenever I started having pressing issues where, now I had all these moving expenses that I need to, money that I need to come up with for these expenses. And so she passed away, and the owner that came by, I was like, okay, this is a clean slate. I'm sorry to say it that way, but hopefully this will be a clean slate. And you know what? It didn't turn out that way, because the owner still ended up telling me that I still needed to move out. And I'm like in a position where I'm like, I don't have the money to move out. This just snuck up on me. Like, I didn't expect the landlord to evict me as well, even though I had nothing to do with anything that had to do with what happened at my dad's house, or attracting too much attention. I said it had nothing to do with me. She was, I know, I understand that, but still, that's your father and that's your family member, and he was evicted out of the property. So yeah, we because I guess she wanted to say, because I'm related to them, to my parents, that the same thing applies to me. And I was like, this is just prejudice, or they just really didn't like me. They were already looking for reasons to get rid of me, because I live on my own, and then I live in a neighborhood where they have a lot of kids, and they're hitting people's properties. They don't respect people's properties, and I kept complaining. And this was a way of her getting rid of me and telling me, well, you have to leave as well, because I'm one tough cookie. I'm not gonna let other kids, bully me. Kids, bullying adults, with their property, making up excuses that it's okay to be hitting people's property. Like, no, it's not okay. Just because you're a kid and you're playing around, where's your parents? The parents weren't even around to even be held accountable for their kids. their parents were always inside the house. So anyways, you know, that became a big matter, a big issue here. So I already had a lot of people that didn't like me here, and a lot of people that just wanted to see badness come my way. You know, just they had like ill-willed intentions in their mind towards me. So I was like, you know what? I told my sister, I said, I'm just gonna get out of here. I said, even if they even give me a chance to stay, I'm just gonna still move. But at the moment, I was thinking, I was thinking more rationally, like, yeah, it's best that I move, because if not, then, you know, something else is gonna come up, and I'm eventually gonna have to leave anyways. So I decided to just, you know, leave. But before that, I wanted to see if I can still get a second chance, you know, and not a second chance because there was really no chances to be given. It was just more like, you know, would you allow me to stay? And, you know, the owner, you know, after, you know, the manager passed away, I was like, wow, the manager who was, you know, very rude to me. Well, she wasn't very rude. I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. She was very like high strung. Like, she was very high strung against me, and really didn't. She wasn't fair with me, you know, when it came to the neighborhood. And she passed away. So when the owner came around of the property, I had asked her if I can stay, and she says, well, let me let you know next week. And so I called her the following week, and she said no, that I still had to move out. And so I still had to move out, and that was it. That was the end of it. You know, I had to move out. And so this is the reason why now I'm like bombarded with all these expenses, and I had no idea that I had all these, you know, things I have to do in order for me to move out. And this is a mobile home, guys. Imagine if I was living in a home. You know, I think a home would have been better for me to move into than living in a mobile home, because if you have to move out of the lot, you know, and there's nowhere else to go, what are you gonna, I mean, like, it's a lot worse. So I'm like, just forget it. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, just forget it. Just find yourself a place to move into. Find another lot. So that's what I did. I just kept looking for another lot. And so I found one, but now I'm having all these expenses that just came up. And so that's the story behind the reason why I got evicted. And it wasn't my fault. Nothing had to do with my fault. And that's the story behind that. So I don't know if you have any questions. Just leave me your comments down below. But I do have my Zelle information down below in the description area, and my Cash App. You know, you know, if y'all have, or y'all willing, you know, to lend a helping hand to somebody who's in need at the moment, you know, it's, you know, it's appreciative. So you don't have to, you know, I'm not like asking you, you know, for money. I'm just saying, you know, I'm not asking anybody for money, but if you are, like I said, I mean, if you're willing and you're in a place to do something like that for someone like myself who's going through, you know, just bombarded. Like, I wouldn't have been able, I wouldn't put myself in a situation like this, but I got blindsided, you know, and I had gotten my hopes up because I was thinking, you know, that I was still going to stay here, because they made me believe like I was going to still continue to stay here. And that didn't happen. So I was like, okay, well, forget it. Just let me just look for another place to live. And it's hard. It's hard to look for another place to live. So So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm, needing now. I'm needing money to move out, and that's basically it. So I hope you guys now see the big picture, and it wasn't something that that I could have actually done myself. It's like one of those things that you don't have any control over. It has nothing to do with me, being, not being frugal with my money or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. It was just more of like, this just happened, like all of a sudden, like all of a sudden, this just happened, and you just never expect, this is just something like, expecting the unexpected. Like, I wasn't expecting the unexpected, it was more like, it was just something that just unexpectedly happened, and it's out of my control. I don't know. I mean, there was nothing that I can do about it. I mean, the amount of money that I'm needing to move out. Now, where I was wrong is where my ignorance came in, because, even though I was staying here, why was I thinking that I was going to stay here forever? Like, why would I think, like, if everything goes well, this is the place I was going to live and retire in, and, and not have to worry about needing to move out, or worry about issues, like this, where now I'm faced with a situation where I'm needing to move out. I don't know why in my mind I was thinking this was going to be forever staying in this place, because really I mind my own business. I don't mess with anybody. I don't bother anybody. I do mind my own business. So that's why I just felt like, why wouldn't I stay here a little longer, and why wouldn't they allow me to stay, especially with the way prices are going. I mean, they have a lot of their property. A lot of people are leaving their properties here, here at this lot. So you would think that they'd want you to stay, and make money. But instead, she wanted me to leave. So I was like, well, there's nothing I can do about that. I mean, she wants me to leave. She wants me to leave. What can I do about that? I can't do nothing about that. I can't control it. I mean, she evicted me for no reason. And if it goes to court, then, I mean, I have my reasons. I mean, hopefully I have a good judge. And a good lawyer to defend me on my side, to say, hey, look, well, you're evicting the wrong person here. You evicted the right person the first time, but why are you evicting her? Because I have nothing to do with whatever issues had happened at their house. But it's because, like I said, they already were finding a reason to get rid of me. But because they can find a reason to get rid of me. And I say that because, like I said, there's a lot of, there's like 4 mobile homes here that are near me, like in my neighborhood, that I've already made complaints about because of their children. Because of their children, hitting my mobile home, making damages to my mobile home. And I mean, like, their parents weren't telling them anything. But anyways, that's for another story. But, yeah, so that's it. I mean, that's the story behind the reason why now I have all these moving expenses. It's not something that I could have controlled. And I don't have any nest eggs. I can't afford a nest egg. I don't have, I live off of one income. And because I live off of one income, I have to pay all my bills. And it's not like I have any family members that help me with my bills. And if my car messes up, I'm done for, So my sister's the one that usually helps me when I'm in these types of situations where, well, not these types, but in situations where I need a vehicle or a place to live. She's there for me. And I do thank her a lot for taking me into her home. I do appreciate that. But now I have both of my parents and myself that are needing to be taken in. And my sister really doesn't have the room or any accommodations for my parents to move them into her home. But it just looks like that's where it's heading right now, until I get my mobile home situated, you know, with connecting everything I need for moving into my mobile home. But God is good. I'm blessed. I'm not complaining. Yet I do worry like everybody else does. So I have a right to feel this way. And I just thank anybody who, and appreciate anybody who, you know, who can give a lending hand for those who are in need or are in situations, you know, like that are going through hard times. But this is everything so far. My eyes, I'll do those off video. I'm not going to do my eyes today. I'm just going to do my face makeup because I'm just getting ready to do a video here shortly. Just want to make sure that my eyebrows are matching. This one looks like they're not matching. They're not matching. I'll go ahead and fix that off camera. But that's everything I want to share with you guys. I might get ready with me in the story behind, the backstory behind how I got to be where I'm at, you know, with my moving expenses and, you know, yeah. So, and then we'll do another get ready with me and I'll let you know more about what's going on with my health wise, because I know y'all not blind and I know y'all have noticed that I look like I've gained more weight, and I have. So there is a story behind that as well. So I will do that for our next get ready with me. Thank you for joining me here today. Really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in my next video. I love you all. Mwah. Have a great and wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.